Hey everybody, and welcome to another model building workshop. I'm Mr. Allen. I'm here at the Smith Hill Library, part of the Providence Community Library here in Providence, Rhode Island. And today we're going to talk about, I got three kits here. Two are from RS models, and I've got one, which is kind of a two-in-one set from Sword models. So we're going to look at these kits, which are coming out of the Czech Republic. So these are some interesting kits, some interesting subjects, and we'll start right away with the, now forgive my Italian, I'm not the best at speaking Italian, even though I am a Rhode Islander. You'd think I would be brilliant at this, but anyway, so if I'm murdering these pronunciations, please feel free to correct me, okay? So this is the Ambrosini Sia 207. This is an Italian aircraft. And on the back of the box, you can see several different color schemes here. So it seems like this was an experimental plane done by the Italian Air Force in World War II. Looks like these are being tested out in 1943. Looking like they were trying to use, according to the instructions, it was implying that they're trying to use some other materials. I don't know if that means wood. The instructions are not the best write-up in there as far as the translation is. But so the impression I'm getting is that this was a plane that they built in 1943. They were testing out, and it looks like a few of them, according to the back of the box art here, looks like a few of them did make it to squadron service anyhow, because it's saying this one here is with the 3rd Stormo in the summer of 1943. There's one in German, which is a probably one that was kind of like impounded with the Luftwaffe in northern Italy and probably tested out. And then there is the first one here is the 7th production variant. And what I gathered from the instruction sheet, which I will dig into now, because they do have a write-up. Like I said, it's in English, sort of. So Fascist Italy was trying to put together a lightweight fighter that was able to keep up, and perform well with the new generation of Allied fighter planes that was coming across. So this is using a 750 PS Isata Fraschini Delta RC40V engine. So this reached 625 kilometers an hour. And I guess what it says here is after they built 15 of them, the order was canceled, and then they tried to move on to an advanced version, SIA 403, which was in prototype stage. But then at this point, in September of 1943, Italy surrendered, and so much for the production. Anyhow, so let's take a look at some of this, shall we? The instructions are pretty basic, but the diagrams aren't bad. I have not tried assembling one of these yet. I'm just showing you what I've got here. So, very basic color callouts. According to this, it only has black, silver, and a light gray interior color. There's a small fret of metal parts, looks like the dashboard, seat belts, things like that. And the rest of it is in regular plastic, shall we say. Not much of an instruction sheet there. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult to do, but let's have a look. Like I said, I have not tried one of these yet, but I want to show you what these kits look like. So there's a nice decal fret here, or sheet, I guess I should say. Looks like they made a correction for the Italian fascist emblems. I guess there must have been a misprint. Yeah, it looks like one version of those. You can see that it looks a little thick on the original sheet. Looks like it's a little thick, I'm guessing, and these are a little thinner, I suppose. The Nazi swastika is done in 2 parts. So you have to assemble that because it's banned in many countries. That's why it's done that way. And then you've got the metal and the glass piece here, which I believe are optional. I think they give you the options of either going with plastic or metal. Because I know some of us model builders, myself included, aren't really the best working with metal. So you do have an option. And here's what there are for plastic parts, which not a lot, but not uncommon for a fighter plane in 1/72nd scale. One thing I'm curious about is if this engine was a copy of the Argus engine. I guess I could look that up, because like in the Messerschmitt 108, things of that nature. Anyway, just something I'm pondering. Looks like there's minimal flash. Well, some things to clean up, not much. Choice of different tail wheels I'm noticing too. You've got, if you can see those. So that is the Ambrosini. Looks like it'd be a fun kit to put together. Looks like it's going to be a small aircraft, probably like the Messerschmitt 108 in size, so maybe like a Yak, like a Yak 7 fighter plane. Okay, now we're going to move on to another RS models. Again, these are 1/72nd scale, which I didn't say that, but I think for those of you that build these models can probably guess from the size of the kit. There's another one here. Again, I may mispronounce this. I'm assuming this is a Reggiani 2005. Another Italian fighter. And there's a lot of interesting color choices for this plane. Again, the impounded or impressed, whatever, German versions, as they took control of northern Italy. They would have tested out these aircraft. And there's several Italian ones. There's 2 from before the armistice. One here with the RSI, the Fascist Republic, Northern Italy. That's after the armistice. That's the Mussolini's puppet government in the north of Italy. So there's a few different options there. Let's open this box up. Let's have a look at the plastic parts. There's a little bit more to this one than the other kit. You have choices of propellers. There's thinner blades or thicker blades. I don't know if you can, yeah, I think you can see that. This is, more of a parts count. A little bit of cleanup is going to be necessary, but it doesn't look too bad. Some interior detail on the inside of the cockpit. Very large radiator. At least that's what it seems to be from first glance. And here's your wings and so forth. Yeah, a choice of 2 types of spinners for the 2 different propeller types. The glass part. And the extensive decal sheet, which has a lot of different choices here. So you've got the Fascist Italy through September of 1943, and then you had the RSI, which was 43 to 45 with their emblems here. This one's the stenciled version, which I'm not familiar with, but that's interesting. And of course the German markings as well. And you have that Scarecrow emblem, which is of the, let me read that again. Looks like the 362nd Squadron. It's listing October 43, which I guess it would be, as it would have sat in the airfield post-surrender before they removed the markings. And then, whether they got brought to the RSI, the Luftwaffe, or if some of them made it to the, Italian, the co-belligerent Air Force, which was working with the Allies. I don't know how many of these are, or if any of these got to the Allied side. Looks like this also has a bomb, for a bomb option, which I'm not sure if that was used in combat or not. So the idea with the 2005 here, similar to the Ambrosini, was to try to improve the Italian fighter force to catch up with some of the advances that the Allies were making in their aircraft. So one thing, let's get the instruction sheet just to corroborate, confirm my story. Sorry, collaborate, whatever. Anyway, confirm my story here is that, okay, this is the Sagittario, or Sagittarius, the Archer. And let's see. Yeah, this is the Daimler Benz Inline engine, which is the German engine, which is commonly, or more commonly known as the aircraft engine for the Messerschmitt 109. So yeah, the Italians were able to get licensed copies of those, and they were able to produce them, and they used them in their Mach-E 205 and Fiat G55 fighters. So the Reggiani 2005 was yet another aircraft using that engine, and this was kind of a late, design that Italy was working on before the surrender. So its operational career began in May of 1943, and it was used to defend Sicily and Italy against the Allied bombers, and that went on until, according to this, August 26, 1943. And yeah, that mentions that the Germans seized 13 of these aircraft for use. So this is a slightly different style of instruction sheet from the other one. It's got more color callouts. I'm not sure this is from a different year from the other one. And it's a little more detailed than the Ambrosini, a little more involved in assembly. And it does mention the bomb rack. Anyway, so that's the 2005. Let's see if there's a date on these. Let's see one offhand. What's interesting though is the box art does show a number of other aircraft made by this company. Because sometimes you wonder, how can all of these model companies survive building models? But there's so many types of aircraft out there that were built, especially during the World War II era. They were just cranking out aircraft. So they have a version of the Dornier DO-17E, like the one that Airfix built. So they have a version of that, and they have the F. And I think the other box was showing that they went on to do, an M and a K. So there's a full line of those aircraft to look at as well. Okay, so moving on, let's look at the sword kit. And this is a 2-in-1. So this includes both the Spitfire Mach 5C of the RAF and the Reggiani, if I'm saying that right. This is the 2001, which was the predecessor to the 2005. Similar aircraft. Let's take a look and see what's in the box. So this is for the 70th anniversary of the battle over Malta. So there's quite the clash going on between the British and the Italians and the Luftwaffe as well to try to neutralize Malta, Britain's island base in the middle of the Mediterranean. So naturally, there's a lot of parts and things to this kit because you got two of them. And there's several different options here, which I should show you. So there's two variants for the Spitfire and two for the 2001. And both of this, looks like they're the same squadrons. May and June of 1942 for the Spitfires and June and July for the 2001s. No, I got that backwards. Take that back. Anyway, so in the spring and summer of 42, okay? So you can look at it yourself there and get the correct information, which I just did. Anyway, moving on. Just a little story here about the battle, and then it jumps in. All right, jumps in with the Spitfire. And these look pretty detailed. A lot of color callouts. Looks like there's lots of parts, lots of detail. Good diagrams. Again, I haven't tried building this. I don't know how this is going to go together. Looks like there's going to be a lot to do. Gives you a parts breakdown. Now we're going to go on to the 2001, and it does seem to give you all of these stencils, which are, there's a vast amount of these stencils, decals to put on the Spitfire. And we'll move on to the 2001, which has quite a bit going on there as well. And then we get into the paint schemes, which you have the back of the box for good reference. Except for the British ones, it's talking about sky, dark earth, midstone, and a dark sea gray or extra dark sea gray, or even a US Navy blue gray is an option on the Spitfires. Sheet there. And then you have the Italian planes, which are basically the light gray with a dark green, the white theater stripe. So there you have it. There's a few different model manufacturers out there in the game. So here's the variants here for the parts for the Spitfire. At first glance, it looks like you have a choice of the propeller here, or these look like individual blades here if you want to do a different variant. I'll have to look at that instruction sheet, but that's what it looks like. The parts look really nicely molded on this. A lot of them. But that's for the Spitfire. And then there are, if you're not satisfied with those parts, there are the looks like resin pieces as well. And this seems to be, is the glass parts are all in one bag here. This is the Italian 2001. Quite a bit of parts there, including a bomb. Not a badly detailed instrument panel right here. Nicely molded. Good detail for the inside of the cockpit and the walls. Looks impressive from here. Of course, I haven't tried building it yet, so you don't know until you start assembling how things are going to work out. And a really beautiful decal sheet. Things seem to be in register here. So first glance they look that way. On camera they look kind of strange when I'm looking at it, but no, I guess it looks good. And a host of all those stencils we were talking about, a lot of that. Okay, so there's a look at a few different model manufacturers. And there's no previews on the side of the box to show what else Sword is working on. But that's an interesting combination. All right, so here's a quick look at a few different model kits from Sword and RS Models, a couple of different model companies out of the Czech Republic of some interesting Italian and British aircraft. All right, we'll catch you next time on the Model Building Workshop.